Superstar, on the other hand, only has five main characters. Shit. So, this is unexpected. Well, somewhat. It's long been a theory that Leela would eventually end up with nine members, and even if it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, Season 2 of Superstar adding another character or two to the group is something I more or less expected. Wasn't expecting all four at once, though. I have a lot of mixed feelings on this, but before I get to that, I had originally planned for the next video to be a Kanon and Chisato analysis, similar to my previous Kiki and Sumier video, with a later follow-up looking at Ren, and then a final video in that sort of mini-series going over Superstar Season 1's themes and my hopes and predictions for Season 2 before it came out. But, yeah, this kind of threw a wrench in that. Anyway, outside of how this fucked over my video schedule, first thing first, I actually really like both these designs and the character concepts. I mean, we've got Goals, her girlfriend, the sane-seeming one, and Logan Paul. What more could you want? But in seriousness, I do think these characters seem fun, and am genuinely curious how they'll be used. However, in similar bios done for the first five Leela girls last year, it was mentioned Sumier was a streamer, so not only does that seem to have been scrapped and repurposed, but who knows what we'll even actually see from these bios in the show. Still though, I'm excited to see them in action. However, while I am interested in these characters conceptually, I think giving Leela the standard 9 members isn't the best idea for a variety of reasons. I think one or two could have worked out well enough. I think an Azusa from K-On! Sort of character in particular, a younger straight man to the group's chaos, could have been fun and fit quite well. But if they had to add four more girls, I think making them members of the club but not Leela could have been a good compromise. I don't even know if that's how school idol clubs work, and it wouldn't solve all the problems this create, but it would have been unique and would have allowed Leela to keep their dynamic as a five-member group while not totally stepping on the toes of Niji's solo idol thing. To give you a comparison, I think D4DJ benefited from having multiple groups at the same school, and I mean, Love Live has never really been great at giving anything to the non-main groups at each show, so maybe it'd be a good thing. You could have these girls debut as side characters in Season 2, then maybe get their own spin-off. Overall, I think adding these four isn't inherently a crime. I actually think since it's confirmed the original five are second years now, giving them the ability to basically mentor these new idols could be really interesting. This story is a lot about the characters overcoming their own personal baggage, and to a degree the existing members of Leela are in a place where they could do that for these new girls too. Them graduating while this new group is already flourishing at the school could have been sweet. Hell, it might still be even with them and Leela. Enough with the what ifs though, we're getting 9 members now, and I think there's some issues with this. Firstly, there's no chance whatsoever they're doing 3 seasons now, at least in my eyes. It's been a popular theory that Superstar would break the 2 seasons in a movie trend by following the original 5 throughout each year of high school. 1 season would be 1 school year, basically. This theory was supported by Season 1 progressing faster through the year than normally, and ending by setting up that the group are now second years. Which, as I mentioned, has been confirmed to now be the case, but I feel like if we were getting a Season 3, they wouldn't have added 4 new characters and made the group 9 already. Though there's always the chance they'll add another 4 in Season 3, I guess, but I don't know if I see it. Mind you, not breaking the formula in this regard, that being getting another season, isn't inherently a bad thing, but it does eliminate another chance for Leela and Superstar to do something unique, which is really my biggest problem with this. I talked about this a lot in my Kiki and Sumier video, but Superstar's focus on a 5-member group over a longer stretch of time is its biggest strength, and Season 1 took advantage of that. It was able to have the group basically start as fully separate and show them gradually becoming closer. Kiki and Sumier's arc worked exclusively because they were able to legitimately just not be friends with one another until after the events of episode 10. But when you have 9 main characters, it becomes harder to actually develop relationships in this way. The existing members aren't a cohesive unit yet. Ren is barely part of the group dynamic-wise, having no real distinct relationship with anyone except maybe Kanan. Kiki hasn't even gotten a focus episode yet. There's still all the stuff with her potentially having to go back home. There's character beats and quirks they set up that could use expanding in general. Hell, Sunny Passion are barely even characters, despite the marketing trying to push them. All of this is at least somewhat excusable in a show with only 5 main characters and like 2 side characters. The characters were already established in Season 1. Season 2 is where we'd see them grow, both in terms of character development and bond. But when you introduce 4 more main characters, there's a lot more you need to balance in addition to having a plot. Since Superstar isn't going for the no overarching plot, more slice of life direction Niji is doing, it really doesn't help, but I think Superstar and Leela in general has had trouble standing out in the sea of Love Live content we've been getting. Agawa's is still ongoing, Niji is doing its thing, we're getting whatever that VTuber project is. And for God's sake, we're getting Niji Season 2 and Superstar Season 2 back to back, and the VTuber project is starting probably right around when Superstar ends, so it's really just stuck in the middle. I've seen people say that boosting the group up to 9 was a choice made to try and boost Leela's popularity, but I really don't think that's the case. Given production times, this probably was planned before Season 1 even started airing, but it still does feel like the show didn't plan around this. Probably the most distinct thing Superstar had was the smaller 5-member group, which has always been symbolized by the 5-point star symbol. And like I said, Season 1 seemed to be written with this in mind, taking things slower than we'd normally see, but now that's gone. I've seen a lot of responses to the mixed reactions surrounding this that are along the lines of, "Oh, Love Live fans are so annoying. Why are you complaining? It's more content." I feel like that's just oversimplifying things way too much. Especially since we're at a point where it's kind of hard to follow everything going on with Love Live. School Idol Project was its own thing with one group of 9 members. Aqua's and Sunshine as a whole was basically a sequel show. It very much became its own thing, but there's probably a reason it's the only series to directly acknowledge its predecessor. Because it also stopped performing early in its run. But now we have Niji, Leela, and Aquas all doing concerts and tours and getting albums and having their Seiyus do stuff and getting tie-in media, and it all just gets to be a lot. Love Live is a brand with a variety of different branches now. It's kind of becoming impossible to keep up with it all. That's not a bad thing inherently, but it does kind of feel like in the course of becoming that, Leela is just kind of being rushed through. I've seen a lot of people who love Niji but just can't get into Superstar, or the reverse. Some vastly prefer Niji's large cast with a non-plot-focused slice-of-life format, with the episodes centering around individual characters or groups. Others prefer Superstar's slower bonding of the group and more plot and arc-focused structure. They have different appeals, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, if the franchise is going to become this big with different branches and multiple ongoing shows and groups, having those shows and groups appeal to different audiences is probably a good thing. I think over time we're going to see more Love Live fans, both new and old, who just follow their favorite group and nothing more. And that's okay. It feels like the Love Live brand is very much in a transitionary period right now. This fact, however, makes it all the more confusing why they rushed to add 4 new characters to Leela and removed probably the most distinct thing the group and the show had, and personally what I believe was part of the appeal. I'm honestly shocked these characters weren't saved for the VTuber group. Their bios make them seem perfect for it, really. Natsume is already a streamer. I mean, it says she's an L-tuber, whatever that means, for God's sake. And I feel like the whole big personality who's kind of blatant about wanting to make money and be a star makes for an interesting VTuber persona. Shiki and Mei already seem like they have a dynamic that could play off each other well in streams, and Kiriko could make a perfect straight man for the group. I feel like it might have done some good to have let the group be their own thing rather than being added in Superstar Season 2 and giving that show a lot more to balance. Also, both these 4 and the original members will also be competing with the new VTuber group when that becomes a thing, when they could have just been a part of it and dodged this issue entirely. Anyway, with all that rambled out there, I think these four characters could be great. I'm sure their seiyus will be great and give it their all, and I'm sure each of them will have fans. Hell, I might be among them. I want to be. I already think they all seem fun, and I love their designs and personalities. But I think this wasn't the best decision to make. It's disappointing losing a big part of what I liked about Superstar, and because of how much it now has to juggle, I'm more anxious for season 2 than excited like I was. I love Superstar season 1. Right now, it's probably my favorite Love Live season, period, besides maybe School Idol Project season 2. But I just don't know if they'll be able to juggle everything the next season needs to do. I hope they can, and either way, I'm sure we'll get some fun episodes and fun character moments regardless. But I just think this probably could have been handled better. It also completely ruined my planned video schedule, which fucking sucks.